Welcome to the hashtag Ask Damo show. Welcome to the show. It's show number 8. We're pretty sure it's show number 8.
It's 8.
So this is the show where you get to ask questions and I will do my best to answer them off the cuff. I don't know what's coming, which makes this a bit more kind of fun and exciting, and we'll see what answers I can contradict myself on this week. I've got my pink bass. Of all the basses that I have, this one is my most pink one. So it's also a heavy motherfucker, so I'll pass you that. So as always, my sidekick for the show is Melissa, who is here. How's your week been?
Yeah, good. How's your week been?
It's been good. It's been a good week. I have had a lot of questions. I'm getting to a point now where I'm probably getting up to about 200 messages / emails a week. So it's getting bigger, it's growing, and I am appreciating all the engagement, I'm appreciating all the questions, and I'm loving when people are subscribing to my YouTube. Hint, hint, hint. And I'm loving it when people send stuff in because our wall is starting to grow. We're starting to get more stuff. Do we have any packages this week? We do!
We have presents.
We love this bit. Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to open the biggie because this one came first. This looks quite exciting. Right, let's see what we have got. We have got a poster, which is from the Atmospherics. I like that. They've signed it. That's brilliant. Released 8th. Is that the 8th of the 5th? So that'll be the 8th of May 2017. Brand new single, Sense, nice and signed. Guys, that is going to go on our wall. Thank you very much. There is also some other bits and bobs in here. Oh, there's a nice letter. You read the letter while I find some stuff. You're good at reading.
Yeah. Say hello, Damo. We have a little bundle from you from our most recent release for the Atmospheric Sense. Inside you'll find 1 promotional poster signed for the release, 1 CD, there it is, and 4 Atmospherics bracelets. That's new. That's
is
cool.
lovely.
I love that.
And they have obviously seen that I do like wearing women's jewellery.
So they've said, keep doing what you're doing because your support means a lot to us. Many more people are inspired from what you do and the help you give. It's an honour to take your advice on board. Much love, Ryan, Steve and the Atmospherics.
Oh, guys, thank you so much. I'll be playing this. I'll be sticking it on the wall. We'll put the links to the band in below. Everyone show them some love. Don't forget, when I'm reposting stuff, I want you guys to show the other bands love just the same way as they will do right back to you when you guys are featured on some stuff. So show these guys some love. Thank you very much. Let's see what we've got here. Rip, rip, rip. Oh, it's like Christmas. What have we got? We have got, I know these guys. Oh, I love t-shirts. And it is a size small, just my size. That is good. Oh, I like that.
That's really nice.
Oh, that is lovely.
I like that.
From the band Chasing Deer, who I met up with at one of my workshops, and they are such lovely guys. These guys work so hard. You know, these guys, in order to fund what they do, they are professional buskers. They go busking in London every single day, and it makes enough money for them to then fund the original band, which I think is absolutely unbelievable. And it gets to fund stuff like this. So thank you guys so much. This is not going on the wall. This is going on my belly. This will be being played, and we will get some of this stuff on the wall. That certainly will be going on the wall, and we'll put links to Chasing Deer down below. Show them some love, guys. Thank you so much. I will also send a picture of me wearing this t-shirt in around half an hour's time. So amazing. Thank you so much. So do we have questions?
We do. We have questions.
There will be a show.
Okay, so firstly, Jordan Drew, he's saying, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for your content. It's really helping me grow my knowledge and understanding of the industry. So that's always a nice way to start. So we have a little backstory for this one. Saying, I've just completed my BA degree in music, but I'm uncertain about the future of my musical career. I currently work 4 days a week, which provides a stable income, but is not where I want to be working for long. The trouble is, I have little time outside of work to focus on my music career. I have an idea of what I'd like to do, composing, as well as a promotions company for upcoming artists. So the question is, should I continue to fit music around my job, or should I take a leap of faith and quit my job and possibly move to a city to really push my music career?
So the question is, shall we go for it or shall we not? Yeah, and so it's a bit of a shit or bust time, because finishing the music degree And the next thing is, shall we really go for it, or is that going to be a bit of a worry, and shall we play it safe? Now, I am a bit of an extreme kind of guy, so I'm going to give you extreme
Damo's extreme.
But I do feel like when it comes to this sort of stuff, when we talk about this thing, the reason why I think you should be asking these questions is because when you ask friends and family advice, they are always going to give you the advice that A, they feel like you want to hear, or B, that's going to protect you. And I'm not going to try and protect you, because I don't need to try and not hurt your feelings. I'm going to try and give you impartial advice. So this is what I think. I feel like you have done a music degree, therefore you have committed a massive amount of time, energy and money in getting this far. And this hasn't just been the degree, but before the degree, but we're looking at 5-6 years worth of hard work to get to the point where you've finished your music degree. You've committed this far. Now, with all that having happened, for me, why would you want to do anything else? But why would you want to stop the progression? And I think that's what it comes down to, stopping that progression. When you take on a full-time job, you are limiting your time and your energy on your project, and therefore when it comes to competing, that makes it very difficult. I say this a lot when I go into workshops at colleges and universities, and for anyone who's at college and university right now, when you finish in 1, 2 or 3 years time, at that moment, you have to compete, which means as a bass player, you have to compete with me, and I am fucking awesome. So you've got to take that into consideration. So when it comes to finishing your degree, that's the time you go. That's why you've got this far, you've come for it. My advice is, yes, you go for it. Because if you've got extenuating circumstances, if you've got family to look after, and you have to make a certain amount of money to look after children, then you've got to be careful. You've got to take other people around you into consideration. But if you are just finishing college and you can go out there and put all the stuff that you've learned into practice, then you're young. I'm assuming if you finish your degree, you're 21, 22 years old. Go and spend the next 3 or 4 years with as little outgoing as possible. Make just enough money to get by, and put all of your time and all of your energy into the thing that you love to do. Because if you get to 25, 26, 27 years old and it hasn't worked out and you have failed at it, and I use fail as it's not the right word because you're always learning, but if you have got to the point where you don't want to do it anymore and you feel like you've come far enough and it's not worked out for you, then you're not too old for another career. 26, 27 is young. You're going to retire at the age of 65, 70 odd. So from 20 to 70 is 50 years. If you spend the next 3, 4, 5 years of your life experiencing, learning and going for it, then you're going to come out of it with a lot more experience. It might not work out for you, or you might do it and decide you don't like it, but at least you've given it the shot. And there's nothing worse than when I go back home to Swansea, and if some of my friends are watching from Swansea, where I grew up, when I hear excuses where people didn't go for it and they're regretting their choices about not going for it, it pains me. And I'd rather think that I went for something and didn't do it rather than I just didn't try. So for me, it is about extenuating circumstances around you and your family. But for me, I would bring my outgoings down to nothing. I would go and find, this is selfish, but I would go and find friends that I could say, look, I need your help. You need to let me sofa surf with you for a while so I can take my outgoings down to a bare minimum. Once I've got my outgoings down to hundreds instead of thousands, then what I would do is I would go and find a job that completely revolves around me doing this. So it wouldn't be taking up too much energy. I would find something which was mornings or early mornings, so that I've then got all day to be able to work on my passion and my project. And I think things like, a lot of people when they leave college, musicians go into things like being a postman because they finish at early times, or delivery drivers because they can work their times around their passion and their energy. The most important thing is that you're not coming home tired, without any energy, and you can't put the work that you need to do into this project, because you'll be surprised how quick you can build something when you're working on it every single day, and how fast you can overtake everybody else if you're working on something every single day. Because most people don't. Most people work on it as a hobby in their spare time. So if you make this into your job, then you'll be surprised how fast it will build and how far you can go. So my advice to you is, depending on your extenuating circumstances with family and dependents and that kind of stuff, but if it's just fresh out of college, for me, I would 100% up. I'd go to the city, which I felt probably helps the most. Whether that's for you, that's London, Manchester, Brighton, whichever one feels has got the most opportunity, and I would go there. Because at the moment, you're young, you don't have those things holding you back, and you will have those things holding you back in 10, 20 years, because you will meet someone and get married and probably and do all those other things. Whilst you haven't got that, and you've just got the startings of your career, why not go for it? Why not take two? Because when people are scared to say that, people say, oh, really, what if you go for it and what happens if it doesn't work out? Well, what happens if you go traveling for 2 years? What happens if you just say, I'm going to go and see the world, and I'm going to go and spend all my money by going and traveling to Australia and America and Fiji and all those places? You're still going to come back in 2 years with loads of great experiences, no money, and no more job opportunities than you had beforehand. So what's the difference between spending those 2 or 3 years getting your head down and working like an absolute motherfucker, so that in 2 or 3 years' time you are further towards your goal? That's what I would suggest. So in my humble opinion, go for it, because there's nothing worse than regretting not going for it later on in life when it's too late and you've got too much things riding on it.
So motivational.
Oh, thanks very much.
Cool, right, we'll move on to Christian Jones, who's asking, at what point should you stop gigging for free? Because a lot of the time you want the experience and exposure, but at the same time you want a cut-off point.
Such a good question, this is. Such a good question, because it's not just saying, should I gig for free? Because if you watch my videos, one thing you will be aware of is when I give advice, it's how you can be successful. And it's not what's fair. And I hate that word fair, because fair is bullshit. Because there is no fair, because if I want something, I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to win over the next person trying to get it, because I'm competitive. And I'm not going to say, hey, I won this audition, so I'm going to let you have that audition. Fuck that, no way. I'm going to take that audition straight out of your hands if I can get it, because this is my career and I'm not there trying to dish out my opportunities to other people. So I think this is a great question of you're recognizing that you're young, that you need to build experience, you need to meet people, you need to actually do the thing that you want to do in order to get very, very good at it. Therefore, free is a very, very powerful tool. However, the genius of this question is, at what point do you know when to stop? So it's slightly supply and demand, because when people want you, they will pay for you. So you're trying to build up. So one thing I would do is, when you're going into this idea of free work, which I know people are going to watch this, and I know people are going to give me so much stick on YouTube, and they're going to go, fuck you, man, you're dragging the economy down for other musicians. Tough. The way it works. If I want, when I go and do workshops over in America, the first bunch of them will probably be free, but eventually they'll be paid. That's just the way it works. You build it up. So when it comes to this, I would start to put a number on it. Now, this can be flexible, but if I was going to approach an agency and say, let me do some gigs for free to prove to you that I can do a really, really good job, I would do that. And I would say, let me do 5 gigs for free. Let me do 10 gigs free. Whatever you feel comfortable with. I probably would think of it as the next thing as a period of time where you're going to try and do, if you are committing to it, to doing as much stuff for free in that amount of time and using it, because that's what it is. This is about building or investing, I should say, in yourself. So if I were going to do free work, then I would be using it as an investment. So I would say this is, whether it's as covers or being a musician as a session work, whatever it is, every time I did that free gig, I would make sure I was getting videos, I was getting pictures, and I was using it to build up my profile. Now, how long this takes can depend on how hard you work. However, if people are seeing that you're busy, they will start coming to you and saying, oh, can you please play on my record? Or can you please play on my gig? And that is what you're trying to do. So you're trying to almost kickstart someone else coming to you. So when you go to someone and say, let me do this gig for you, then what's in it for them? Because they can find anybody. So that's when you say you do it for free. When they come to you and they say, I want to get you playing on my stuff, you have a lot more leverage. You have a lot more of the power to be able to say, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then you're going to be incremental with your prices. The one thing I see when it comes to pricing is there's this musician union rate. And I'm like, well, I don't understand the musicians union rate, because if someone's prepared to do it for less and someone won't do it, or won't do it for unless it's twice as much, then there's just a rate for everybody. If somebody wants to teach at £10 and someone wants to teach at £100 an hour, then that's just their rate. There's a recommended, I guess, average. But if you put yourself out and just say, I'm not going to go out for less than £100 for a gig, and nobody will pay you for that gig, then you've overpriced it, because you are not worth the £100 purely. Whether it's a marketing or a musicianship, people aren't paying you. So therefore, for whatever reason, you aren't worth £100 yet, but you will be. So your job is to find your price point, starting at whatever you want to be. I would recommend free, and then using that as an investment. And every time you meet someone, because it's free, this is the important bit, because it's free, everything's an opportunity. If you meet someone, you're like, right, well, I didn't get paid in money, but I got paid in meeting this guy. If it's social media, then I'm going to go to town on every bit of footage that I can possibly do, and I'm going to use that to build myself a website. I'm going to build myself a Facebook, and I'm going to build myself a YouTube, and I'm going to push myself out there. Now, this is a big thing. There's lots of people who watch this who went to music college, and you'll know this. You're at music college, you're looking around, and everyone goes, everyone's excited to be on music college. All of a sudden, someone will put themselves out there. They'll put a website together. They'll put a professional Facebook together. They'll start making videos. All of a sudden, they get elevated above everybody else, whether everyone likes it or not. And so when you make a professional Facebook and you share it amongst your friends, people will say, oh, okay, well, I know who you are and I know what you do. Now, every time you're adding to that, you're adding a little bit of trust into them so that you become the go-to girl. And so as you build up this social proofing, this trust in people, when someone says to them, I need a band, or I need a singer, or I need a bass player, you have to be the first person that comes to mind. Now, as people are asking you to do more and more, and your diary gets fuller and fuller and fuller, at that point you can start to say, look, I feel like I can start to do without bits of this. So I'm prepared to, because I'm doing maybe bits of teaching or maybe covers bands and maybe some session work, I'm prepared to carry on doing the session work to build my name, but I'm getting asked to do lots of these sorts of covers gigs, for example, for nothing, or for 50 quid with my covers band. I'm just going to put the price up by 20%, 30%. I'm going to put it up to 50, or I'm going to put it up to 100. You'll soon know whether that's working or not. And as long as you're flexible, as long as you don't mind taking it back down again, then you win. Because when it comes to price structure, you can go backwards. I can say, I'm selling this for £10. If someone says, I'm not paying that, if I say, okay, I'll sell it for £5, and then I sell it, then I know my price point is £5. If I put my price up to me doing a gig too far and it's not working, I can always bring it down again. You don't have to be stuck in that position. So it is supply and demand. This is about you building a name for yourself and using the free in order to get your name out there. And then when you are ready to start charging, it's about being sensible with how much you're going to charge and actually experimenting a little bit and saying, I'm going to charge £50 for every time I write a song, because I'm writing so many songs and people are asking me for songs so many times. I'm going to put my price up to £50. I know I'm going to lose half or 3/4 of the work because it was free. However, I'm going to keep 25% of it, and that's a really good place to start. So it's about incremental, being patient, not trying to jump into professional fees straight away, and actually using everything as an opportunity on the way to build your career over the time. So you'll know, because you'll be busy enough to say, I can't take on any more work. If it was me, I would ram my diary out, and then after that I'd say, look, I feel like I've put the time and effort into now experiment with a little bit of a charge, see how people react when I say it, and if they're horrified and they just tell me I'm not worth it, then maybe I'll rethink. But at that point, probably people will.
Yeah, quite often people are more willing than you expect, I think, as well.
They are, yeah, especially once you've put the free work in. I think that, for me, the thing that I think people don't like is when people are fresh out of college and they just said, I've just done a music degree, I want £1,000 for my covers band. And I'm like, well, you're trying to compete with all of the rest of them on the same level. Whereas if you were smart about it and said, look, I'm going to do 10 gigs for free, I'm going to build my marketing up with that, then after that, I'm going to put my price up to 300 quid, because that way 3 of us can have 100 quid or 4 of us can have 70 quid, and you're building it up incrementally. And I'd put time frames on it so that you can see that in a year's time, hopefully you'll have got to the target you wanted.
Yeah, and got the recognition. So Amelia is asking, I wonder if you have any tips for someone who has their first gig coming up. She's playing for about an hour with covers and originals. So
the backstory of this is, Amelia is young. She plays guitar, she sings, and she's someone, and she'll be watching this, someone I've been watching, and I love watching her story. I love watching her evolve. I think you are doing such a good job of what you're doing, because you are putting yourself out there. I'm watching you experiment with social media. I'm watching you experiment with Facebook Live, and I'm watching you I'm watching you be consistent, and it's very inspirational to watch a young artist, singer-songwriter, really put in the work in. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So,
go Amelia.
Yeah, absolutely go Amelia. I think she's going to she's going to have a big career ahead of her. So big up for that. Now onto the question, which is first gig. So daunting, but I would say the most important thing when it comes to your first gig is don't put too much pressure on yourself, because I can tell you, because I've seen what you're doing, you are doing a fantastic job. So don't put too much pressure on yourself that this gig has to be anything bigger than it is, which is a good chance for you to learn, experiment, try out your songs, gain an opportunity to build up some more social media, to maybe make some new friends and network, and most importantly, really enjoy the process. So that's my main bit of advice, is don't put too much pressure. At this stage of your career, if you are 15, 18, 19, if you're at a young age and you're starting to do this because you're really enjoying it, make sure that you're enjoying it. As soon as you put too much pressure on yourself, it becomes a little bit too unfun, and the momentum can start to stop. So I think what's really, really important is you keep the fun. That's most important. And then you look at it as a really good opportunity to get your learning and get your experience built up, because you have got so much time. So this is not about you getting a record deal. This is not about you getting a publishing deal right now. This is about you just learning. And every time you go and do a gig, every time you walk on stage and you're starting to play and you're looking at the crowd reaction and you're thinking, that song was a bit long, or that song chorus didn't quite fit as well, or maybe those two songs don't fit together as well as they did, maybe I should put that there. All of these little things that will go through your brain are all tiny details that you can use to get better and better and better. And so that's the best bit of advice. What I would do with the gig is I would find a way, whether it's on a phone, a GoPro, or a camera, an iPad, anything, I would record from the moment you walk on stage to the moment that you walk off the stage as a research method, so that you can watch it back. And you won't like it, because nobody likes watching themselves back, and I don't like it either, as much as I'm on camera a lot, and I never like watching myself on camera because it's weird. But I always watch stuff back, and I'm constantly saying, how can I improve this? What was good about it? What was not so good about it? What can I do differently next time to experiment to see if that's going to change? How much did they like the covers? How much did they like the originals? Which of my original songs went down the best? Which of the covers went down the best? Should I be playing this faster? Should I be playing this slower? Was that key right for my voice under the pressure situation? Or should I lower it? Or maybe I should make it higher for more excitement? All of these tiny details from watching yourself back will really, really help. So my main bit of advice is, this is a first gig. This is a chance to make yourself feel comfortable on stage, to enjoy what you're doing, take any bits of pressure away from yourself, and make sure that when you walk on that stage, you're not too nervous with too much pressure, and that you get to the end and you want to do it again, because that is very, very important. And without changing the subject slightly, but that is something I look as music education is lacking in this country. And this is a big thing for me, where I feel like the responsibility for schools and music teachers is to inspire children to play first. Secondly, to build technique. That's what it's about. Because if a kid is inspired to play music, they will play all the time. If it's a chore, if there's pressure, then they will be less inspired to play. And I think when it comes to music GCSE and music A levels, I think it should be all about, let's play music, let's enjoy music, and let's take all pressures away. And then when you get to a point where you think, I love this, I want this to be my passion, I want this to be my life, brilliant. But until that point, it's got to be as fun as possible. Because when I think of my first bands, they, you know, as much as I would have put pressure on myself to play and make it as good as possible, they were the most fun gigs of my life. And they were probably, if I could go back in a time machine and watch them, they'd be terrible for you know, because of when I'm watching them now. But at the same point, every single time I walked off that stage, it was a countdown to when I could walk back on that stage and do it again, and change things and try new stuff and experiment and be creative. So take any pressures away from yourself, get your friends and family to come down and support you, and just make sure you enjoy it, but videotape the whole thing so that you can, on your own, just watch it, because everyone's going to tell you you're amazing, because that's what friends and family do, but you can watch it back and you can see the bits that you do like and the bits that you don't like, so that the next time you do a gig, you can try again. But good luck, and I want you to message me as soon as you've done the gig, and I want you to tell me how it's gone. Even if it's a disaster, that's not a problem, because that could be a case. If it's absolutely, if it's amazing, I want you to message me. Just literally hit me up straight away and tell me how the gig goes, and good luck with that. And anyone else who's doing their first gigs coming up, absolutely good luck with that. So cool.
It's all part of the journey.
Absolutely.
So this is the last question. James was asking, how do I build an audience with limitations on time and budget?
Right. Okay, so classic. Yeah, it is a classic. This is something that crops up on a sort of regular basis. Do you know what we should do, actually, whilst we're doing this thing? I'm going to give my camera to Al, and he can do some extra social media bits like Snapchats and Instagrams and that kind of stuff. Filters. Absolutely, throw out some filters, because it's all about making content from content. You guys should be doing that as well. So the question is, and this question crops up every day. So this is a question of, firstly, how do I build my audience? Secondly, I haven't got any money and I haven't got any time. And there's always this, I want a magic wand. I want this answer to, I want there to be this answer that nobody else has found, that no one else has given. There's got to be a cheat. Yeah. There's got to be a way of just, I haven't got any time, I haven't got any money, but I want to be very, very successful. So the answer to this question is, you 100% rely on luck. This has now become a lottery for you. So what you do is you hope and you pray and you just really, really wish for Mr. EMI to walk past your window whilst you happen to be playing one of your songs and go, oh fuck, that's amazing, I'm gonna have to sign that guy. Because that is probably your best bet. Because when it comes to this career, you have potentially lots of time, or potentially you can invest lots of money. But if you haven't got time and you haven't got money, there isn't a way other than you just happen to be, you know, there isn't this thing where if I dive into a swimming pool and I swim a length, I am not going to accidentally discover that I am the fastest swimmer on earth. It just isn't. If I go and run the 100 meters, I'm not going to go, well, you know, I can run it in 9.5 seconds. It just isn't going to happen without time and effort. So without time and budget, no. And stop disrespecting yourself by thinking that your stuff isn't good enough, that you shouldn't be really going for it. If you really believe, and I mean really believe in what you do, then you are going to go and have to find some money to put into this. Not lots. I'm not talking about thousands and thousands. We're not talking about record labels, but there is ways of doing this on smaller budgets, and it is going to be Facebook adverts, it is going to be spending money on photo shoots and video shoots. It is going to be spending money on things that you haven't budgeted for, as it were. You are, and if that means that you have to go and get an extra job so that you can find more money, so that the little time that you have got, you can get other people to work for you. But the other thing you've got then is time. If you are making enough money to survive, and that is allowing you the time, then you can achieve a lot with time. The bit that fucks me right off is when I haven't got enough time or budget. I'm trying to think of all the people in the world that I know, all my friends. I'm trying to think of the people I work with. I'm trying to think of myself. I feel like I work hard. I'm company director of 3 companies. I'm trying to build a social media sort of business where I can learn about this. This is like probably an extra 4 or 5 hours of my day, what with engagement and stuff. I was in a band up until very recently where we were gigging 130 times a year all over the UK. Did I have time to take on more stuff? Yes, 100% I did. And it was my choice that I didn't, but I did. And I'm thinking, like, there's not many people who work as hard as I do. And that's so arrogant and egotistical. And I'm sure the Americans are like, yeah, and the British people are like, what a twat. But there's not many. And I still feel like I don't work as hard as I could. So when I see people saying, oh yeah, but I work a full-time job, I don't really have the time and the budget, I'm like, how not? Like there's 24 hours in a day. And I'm not saying you need to kill yourself. And I know you've got to be very careful with, you know, with mental health issues and stuff, but you can still push yourself. You can still get up an hour earlier. You can still go to bed an hour later. That's not going to kill you. And so what I would say is, if you physically can't work any more time and you physically cannot put any money into it because all of the money you've got is taken up by decisions from your past, then I would say rely on luck. I would say don't do it. I would say take your expectations down from taking over the world and selling 1 million records to just enjoying what you do and being a musician and having fun and hoping for the best. If you do want this to be bigger and grow and actually have some expansion where you can really build this up, then it's about sacrifice. It's about what can you lose financially that you can do without. Can you do without Sky? Can you do without BT Sport? Can you do without an iPhone and have, you know, and have a shittier phone? I don't know what a shittier phone is, but you know, can you sell your gear? Like, you know, that guitar that I had at the beginning of the show is like, I love it. Do I need it? No, I don't use that for gigging. If I needed it, I could sell it. Like, I'm looking across, and you can't see this, but I'm looking across at the moment. You know, there's 3 of my basses in here, and I know there's another 2 in the other room, just because I love basses, and over the years I've collected them. Do I need them? No. And ironically and weirdly enough, of all the basses that are in here, the one that's where I live, the one that I tend to just take out on gigs, is a Fender. It's a Fender Jazz copy that I saw and I fell in love with, because they've pimped it out. They Vauxhall Nova'd it. They made like a Ford Escort made it to look like a BMW. I bought it for 120 quid. It's fine. I can gig with that. It's completely fine. I can sell my gear. So if you're sitting there going, I haven't got any money, and you're sitting there with a PRS guitar, fuck you. If you are sitting there thinking, I don't have any time, and you work a 9 to 5, fuck you. Like, that doesn't work like that. You can't have the world. You have to make the sacrifices, and if it means you like your job, then stick to your job. If you're saying, I need the money, go and find a different job that works for you around the hours for you. You know, I met a musician the other day and he's like, oh, but in order to pay my way, I've got 3 jobs. And it was like all over the place. He's like, I'm working in a bar in the evenings and I'm doing this cleaning thing in the day. And I was like, but there's no consistency. So you're making the same amount of money if you just went and worked 9 to 5. At least if you work 9 to 5, you can be home at 5:30. You can work till 1 o'clock in the morning. At least you've got an entire day. You know, people think of a day as 8 hours in the office. Well, there's another 8 hours right after it. So if you want it, that's the bit. So I would say, is there a way of doing it with no money and no time? No, just hope for the big. Go on X Factor. That's what the X Factor's there for. It's for people who just can wish, because it's TV and it's all about luck. If you actually want to make this work, it is about sacrifices. And I know tomorrow I'll get another question from someone else who hasn't seen this going, can I grow my audience without any money? Can I grow my audience without any time? No, you can't. Like, just, you know, not properly. So if you want to compete, which is what this is about, then you have to make the sacrifices, you have to make the choice. If you want to make this about luck, then you can do whatever you want, because that's just luck. It's your expectations, it's how far you want to take it. And if you've got big ambition and big expectations, then you need to put in the work, you need to put in the money, and you need to actually believe in your project, believe in yourself. I fucking hate it when bands get together and they aren't prepared to put in the excess money that they've got, even if it's 50 quid a month each, and just say, look, this is how much I make, this is how much I absolutely need to survive, leaving me this amount of money, that goes into the band kitty so that we can spend it on trying to actually better our lives so that we can quit our jobs and do this. Why would bands not do that? When do they just go, no, I don't have any spare money? Well, fuck off then, go and do a hobby. So, bit of a rant, bit of a high horse, but that is a question that crops up every day, and there isn't an answer that I can give you that you want to hear. So,
it's a lot of hard graft. Yeah,
hard graft. It is hours and hours. You know, I'm still spending 3 hours a night answering as many emails and messages as I can. I'm getting between 100 and 200 messages a day, and like I'm trying to get to as many as possible. I could just go, oh, I can't be bothered, but I know that it will lead to more engagement, it'll lead to bigger numbers, it'll lead me to having a better career. That's what I want to achieve. I'm sacrificing other things in order to do that. That's what you've got to do. So is there a magic wand? No. Is there a magic answer? No. Do you want to do it? That's up to you. The good thing with this is you get to put in the expectation, you get to put in your end goal, you get to decide on the ambition, but you have to have them realistic together.
All right, well, we have come to the end of
What a rant to finish! Good, okay, so
one of your best.
a couple of points, I feel strongly about that one. A couple of points to finish. Thanks to the guys who've sent something in. If you want to send anything in for our wall, or to be featured on the show, then the address is down below. Other ways I can help you, if you haven't seen the videos I put out this week, I'm reposting at least one video a day on Instagram. All you've got to do is tag me, DamianKeys1, hashtag DamianKeys, make it a performance video on Instagram, and I will every day repost someone and make a bit of a fuss of you and go and check out your stuff. That's another thing you can do. And on top of that, at this moment in time, Sarah's over in the corner. She is editing a vlog and she is using your music. So if you want to get your music featured, then all you've got to do is email katie@dkmanagement.co.uk. That is down below. Those are the 3 ways I can help you promote your stuff right now. If you've got a question, take it to Twitter. That's the best way you can get hold of me, is Twitter. It's hashtag AskDamo, and I will find it. Or just come and ask me a question on Twitter, or any whatever social media you happen to be on. You'll get hold of me. I'm on all of them. You can't not get me. Everything comes through to me. I don't need any money for this, but if you want to do me a favor, all I need is 2 things. If you are liking what I do and you are just thinking it's helpful, because a lot of people have come through and say it's helpful, hopefully it is. If you find it helpful, all I need you to do is 2 things. When you see one of my posts, I just need you to like it, and I just want you to subscribe to my YouTube. I know that like on Facebook, it means so much to me. Even if you just go, oh, this day, like it, I'll watch it later. It really, really means a lot to me. So that is how you can help me. And otherwise, that's it for this week. Thank you so much. And we shall see you again next week, but there'll be another video tomorrow. So have a good week and send me some mugs. See you again next week.
Bye.